What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of No Neutral. I am Brian F, and of course, I'm joined here by my co-host, my guy,
Big Hollywood. Right.
Logan,
Really, I fooled you.
Logan, yo, Capcom.
You'd have never have known.
This is why I did not want to have him on this episode. Why would you disrespect me like that? I don't understand what's up. You got your shades on and all that. Listen, Big Hollywood wear Ray-Bans. Those are like, I don't know, man. Where you get those from, Logan? Explain yourself. Okay.
He's trying to do you justice here.
We starting off with the right energy there.
I was gonna say, he did it pretty good.
All right, I see you with the big man thing.
I didn't even go into the big boy draw.
Okay, you know,
trust me.
You got something even nicer than that in there. Don't hurt us. Don't hurt us. Maybe a future episode or something like that. But as you guys can see, it's a special episode. We don't just have men like Brian F. We don't just have Big Hollywood Rob TV. We also have the one, the only, Europe's finest DJ Logan Sama, my dog. And I'll tell you what, man, this is about to be a lit show. I cannot wait. It's exciting. Big man thing in it.
Trust me, man. It's great to be back on the show. It's great to have the opportunity to talk about, the UK and Ireland CPT as well. Of course, unfortunately, we know how much COVID has affected everything. It obviously affected the broadcast, but the guys did a good job from the USA. But it was a shame that me and my guy Femi didn't get to call the action. I felt that.
Oh, we felt it too. That energy is definitely missed. But before we get into talking about what I think was one of the best CPT regions, bar none, we've been hyping up the UK region for a long time. Before we get into that, we got to first, of course, give a big shout out to Team No Motion for bringing No Neutral to the Japanese audience and all our Japanese viewers. We appreciate you tuning into the show before every CPT event. But of course, let's get back to the action here. CPT, UK and Ireland. I mean, this one had a storyline from the get-go. And before we even name the winner, I mean, you should all know by now, there should be no spoilers on this show. I just feel like there was so many subplots leading into this event, more so than like most CPTs. Because of course, coming out of the first event, we had the big upset with 4 Phils qualifying, which, we all called him to be maybe a top 8 contender to cause some upsets. He's been super consistent in all the online events for the region, but to take the first place spot, I mean, second place is one thing. To be consistent is one thing. But it
was a huge surprise. I can't, no disrespect to the 4 Phils because we know how good he is here, but he is, one of those guys that you look out for in bracket. You don't want to, come across the 4 Phils, unless you've got a good matchup or you're familiar with the Falk matchup. And to be honest with you, most of the guys here are really familiar because the 4 Phils, super active. He enters almost anything, and you'll see his name in those top 8s, in those top 4s. Very, very rarely, though, when you have the caliber of players involved, like Problem X, Hurricane, Infectious, and more, will you see the 4 Phils at the top of that. And it was very, very impressive that he did manage to have that breakout event. But that's what everyone needs. They need that one breakout event, right?
We mentioned 4 Phils. He took that first CPT event with that setup, kind of a scramble, like a power vacuum almost, because he didn't enter the second qualifier of this bracket. But that means we have Problem X, Infectious, and the guy that we thought would be the upset because he's been so dominant in all the online events, Hurricane. All 3 of these guys are left competing for one spot in this bracket. So we knew going into this that it would be a bloodbath, but the way it shaked up, it was actually really surprising because right off the bat, before you even get into the top 16 to see the action live on the Capcom Fighters stream, we already had the first upset of the evening because Soundboy, super, super strong Cody player, put Problem X and losers in pools early. That's a big upset. That shook up the entire path of the bracket. So that happening definitely changed the course of the whole tournament and set up a bunch of other storylines. But Problem X, of course, he stayed solid for the whole event, working through. But that set up one more upset that I wanted to bring up. Give a big shout outs to my guy Broski. Broski went into top 16. He had to play. So of course he's playing Oro at this point. So I'm fanboying already. But he had to play Hurricane, who was many people's favorites to win both of these events, right? Yeah. He was up against Hurricane. 2-1, extremely close set, showing off all kinds of aura tag, the V-trigger comebacks, all that, and the solid neutral that he also has as well. And then right after that, to try to make it into top 8 loser side, he then has to play Problem X. When do you go into a tournament and have to play Hurricane winners, get knocked out, and play Problem X back-to-back? I mean, that just shows you how stacked this region is. So we haven't mentioned the winner yet, but I do want to bring up Problem X this whole time. You know, he gets to top 8 loser side. We mentioned going to losers and pools. He's slogging through losers bracket. He actually gets the run back versus Soundboy, who put him into losers originally in pools. 3-0 this time in the top 8 virtual stage where they're performing. So he's working his way back to grand finals. And of course, I feel like the silent killer, the silent assassin, the robotic movements of Infectious just kind of quietly carry him into the winner's side of grand finals. I mean, he was never really challenged, you know. Other than that, once it came grand finals time and Problem X went on the longest winning streak he probably had to do in a tournament in a long time, it seemed impossible.
I'm sad, man. I'm sad. I'm happy for Infectious, the champ, but I feel so sad that Problem got second 2 times, bro. I'm sure he would rather got 3rd or 4th in this one or something like that instead of getting second twice. But of course, he handled it with class and he played amazing, man. Easily to me right now, I think he's the best player in Europe after what we've seen at Red Bull Kumite, and then I have Mr. Crimson under him. But you know, amazing performance from Problem.
It's clear they're of an equal class, and like there are 2 players that I always respect and look to learn from because they always clearly have tournament strategies, and that's what I really enjoy about watching both of them play. And Infectious goes into that matchup against Problem X's M Bison with Ken, which a lot of people would argue is traditionally not a great matchup for Ken. I don't know, maybe Logan, you can confirm that or not, but you can clearly see that even if it's not a great matchup, he knew how to rotate his options enough to play a tournament strategy because he had enough options to mix in to get the W there.
I just want to talk vaguely about how Infectious plays, because a lot of people talk about Infectious playing in a robotic, you know, neutral focused, very respective style, and I just want to let you know that is big cap. Infectious plays with a game plan and will stick to it no matter what. If he believes that is the correct way to play that matchup, he will stick to it no matter what. And that leads to things like, you know, the stuff with Zeku where he is loaded up with that one EX bar and a V trigger, and he thinks you're going to respect that. So he'll wake up with a medium punch, a medium kick, and just steal the turn back because he knows, oh, you got to respect this. With Ken, the strategy that he was using here in Bison, because look, you play a neutral game against Bison with Ken, Big Bird will tell you he's been running the Ken back again. I saw him play against Problem X in France 3-4 years ago. That matchup is garbage in neutral. Absolutely terrible. Infectious was like, the ground is lava for pretty much that entire set. I don't know how many rounds Problem even won. It might have only been 1 round in the whole set. But Infectious was jumping all over him. It's a horrible situation to put him in. And he was so good at doing it over and over and over and over again, and eventually Problem has to crack, and he did. He forced him to crack. The mental stack was overloaded, and there was just too much for him to deal with in that set.
Yo, I love how he worked in that strategy, and I just want to make sure that I add that there's like some factors when it comes to your strategy that are inside the game, and there are some outside of the game. For example, the way that he used the fact that he was on Grand Finals winner's side, I am 100% confident that sporadic, heavy movement base, jumping, even some of the EXDP options that he chose, like especially at the end to finish Problem X off, a lot of that is I'm playing with house money to some degree. I think that so many players do not take that into account, and they just play their normal base strategy, or sometimes they might get so close to winning that they're scared and they're so the victory gets so close and so real that they might even shut down a little bit and press even less buttons. So I feel like if we put it in a parallel universe and Infectious was the one coming in through loser side, I don't think we would have seen that same strategy. We might not even have seen Ken come out in that situation.
I was just gonna say that.
Right.
I was just gonna say that we might not have even seen him go to Ken, but you're right, especially when he got to 2-0 up. When he got to 2-0 up,
oh, it's over.
The level of respect was just like
out the
subterranean.
Gone.
Yeah. Like he was playing against a random.
So that said, we will be seeing Infectious bringing his multitude of characters and strategies. So congratulations to him once again. But that said, that was last year. That CPT event, it's old and done at this point. We are in 2022.
Dude, I had to write that down on a form literally this morning, and it felt so weird.
That would trip me out too.
Writing 2022 it just felt weird. My brain.
It's gonna be a whole month of writing the wrong month because
my brain's still stuck in 2019. I think.
Of course, it's 2019 part 3 at this point. I mean, I'm not gonna make that the official year if you guys want to. I don't know about you, but that said, new year means, of course, we have to make some new resolutions, and we thought we'd discuss some interesting or so maybe some personal FGC resolutions. And I'll get it started. One FGC resolution I have for this year is to respect my opponents in ranked more, but I already failed to do that last night on stream, so that one's done and out the window because I disrespected them the whole time and I got salty, so apologies for that one. My other one is to not be scared to try new things, and that's kind of like a general thing with life. You have to be a little bit uncomfortable and try new things, and that's how you grow as a person. But in fighting games, if you're thinking I'm too scared to try this new character, I have a bad matchup and there's a counter pick, but I don't know, I don't feel like trying them out to learn it, I don't want to switch to my secondary and bracket, you just got to do it. I think that's something that so many fighting game players struggle with, is committing to change, and they get stuck in their ways, and that's something I personally struggle with. I was very hesitant to try out new characters, and even when I learn them, I don't use them in bracket when I probably should have. So that's my resolution for sure, is to not be scared to take the plunge and try something new, mix it up, try a new character, try a character you don't even like, maybe learn something about them.
You just need to be trying some more characters that are a bit more like that G, because I saw you use that guy in bracket a few times. You need that power level. Using this Oro, I can understand why you're not using Oro in bracket. That G.
I might. Yeah, G. I think that G thing set sail. I don't know. It's been about a year since I've touched him. Oro kind of took all my attention, but you're not wrong. G's kind of fell off a little bit, but I don't know why. He's super strong. But what about you guys? Any resolutions for you or for the FGC as a whole?
I mean, I won't say for the FGC as a whole, but the first one I have is going to be specifically for you, Brian. All right, okay. Actually, and the trash can and all that, all of your followers. Stop complaining about Karen's crouch medium kick, bro. Wow. It's one button, and do you know how you block it? You literally just press down back. This is it. It's physically impossible for me to hit you a crouch medium kick if you just do this.
Next time I play Karen, let me just get a rubber band and just hold my stick down back for the entire game and walk away. Because there we go. Great advice,
and
Rob.
That's it.
Rob, I mean, that's some old school stuff now, because everyone is complaining about Karen's V-shift I've seen.
Oh, yeah, people are wilding out. Yo,
I saw that clip going around. Yes.
High fight. All right, yeah, that's one of my resolutions right there. All right, high fight. You up for putting up clips like that, and I appreciate you. I love you, brother. But at the same time, people on there really complaining. Oh, grapplers suck now. Laura is horrible. Do you know how many times I got mixed by V-trigger that set, regardless of that V-shift? You see me struggling, fighting for my effing life.
For your life.
How many characters even make you V-shift 3 times that quick for a Twitter clip, bro? Only a character like Laura. But I'm gonna add this one more thing, all right? Now, for my personal FGC resolution. After this complaint that I'm about to give right now, I'm gonna try not to do it for the rest of the year. I am so tired of the fact that people cannot be better than me at the game, but in the end of the day, they can beat me based off of character matchups, based off of the fact that they don't have to play pure, actual footsies in neutral like I do. They don't actually have to, play the same mind games or anything like that. Like, who's really, if somebody does V-trigger, EX clap on block into dash, and it's +4, and it doesn't take pretty much any V meter, you can do it 100 times over and over again. Or you can just back up, charge, clap, and then dash across the screen, push me to the corner for free. Is that nooch? No. Is there theory behind that? No. Did I know it was coming? Yes. Could I do anything about it? Let's be serious. So that is complete, what is the word? Bullocks. That's bloody
bollocks.
Bloody hell. Yes, I cannot stand it whatsoever. I'm knackered at this point, bro.
I was going to say, Rob, the point of a New Year's resolution is usually to self-reflect a little bit and to grow from, your past self.
Well, that's why this is my last. That's why that's my last rant. Okay, Brian. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm trying to make sure I get it all out. Because in the end of the day, there's not too many people with 2 hands and 2 feet who can out-nooch Big Hollywood Raw TV, and that's facts. Check the tapes. Check the facts of the matter. All right. There's not too many people on this earth, but yet there's a few people who can still give me trouble just off of some BS because they're not playing no Neutral, not playing no Street Fighter. But that's my resolution. I am done with that for the rest of this year, quite possibly.
Until the next episode of No Neutral.
I thought your New Year's resolution was actually wearing tops now. I thought that was your New Year's resolution.
I don't like the fact that all the viewers be body shaming me like that, all right? Listen, ever since Big Hollywood got in the gym and all that, I can't help it. I can't find no shirts that can fit me. The only shirts that can fit my muscle is something like this. This is a huge hoodie. I'm still swollen and bursting out of it. What
you need to take some notes from people like Brian and guys like that, and just go to the mall and pick yourself up some extra medium shirts and just squeeze into them. And put on a show for the ladies like Brian's doing today.
Brian, your skin is all red right now. Circulation cut off. How your arm feeling?
I'm trying to hear the blood pressure's getting to me. That pop up there, I was about to be on the floor after that. It was too much energy for me right now. You got to tone it down a little bit. I can't handle it right now.
Man. Hey, one last thing before you do yours, Logan, and this won't be long. My last one is that, in all seriousness, I'm going to do my best to not debate. Outside of the neutral stuff, I'm not going to debate anything regarding my own results and skill and stuff like that, okay? I'm going to try to just let that go, let people say what they're going to say, because it's a waste of time. Like, with we all know what happened with the whole CPT Midwest thing, and then after CPT Midwest, I went and smoked all of NLBC 3 straight times back to back to back, and it's all East Coast players. But I won, and then I lost to Punk and got second place. I lost to Adam, got second place. That's the only 2 people over there who beat me. However, you know what I'm saying? Who cares? Why do we even need to bring that sort of thing up? So after today, I will not be petty and argue anymore. You guys are all correct. All right, Logan, what you got for us?
I just want to interject with that, man. Like, we're suffering from there not being enough offline events come back yet, because at least, back in the day, you'd only have to handle that in person. You could just ignore the Twitter trolls that are completely irrelevant. If someone wants to talk about your ability in person, cool, the setups are over there. Let's run the set. Beautiful. Get your money up. Let's go. First to 5 for whatever. Let's go. I know you're on that as well. I know you're ready for that. So, hopefully we can get back in 2022 to more of these offline environments where people have to put up or shut up.
Yes, it will be a beautiful thing.
So for me, 2022, if I can be serious for a minute, I've actually deactivated my Twitter accounts.
What?
I've deactivated on Twitter both my DJ and my gaming accounts, so that I can try and focus a lot more on actually executing the stuff that I've got in my brain, and not to be sidetracked and sidelined, whether that be from the stuff that Rob just spoke about, debating with people and putting my energy, letting my energy off and wasting it when it could be channeled into more productive things. So that's one of I'm just trying it out, because me, Rob and Brian, I've known you guys for a long time. I'm sure you've seen me on social media long before we knew each other properly. I'm very, very active on social media, so I'm trying something different this year. It's the whole point of a resolution is being open to change and trying something different. So deactivated my Logan Sama accounts on Twitter, and I'm trying to see whether I can focus and execute more in terms of my plans this year. So that's one of them. My second one is actually I wanna stream more. I don't stream hardly at all. I want to try and stream more and try and do more like direct learning myself, visibly, so people can see how I approach learning. We can all learn together and just go through that, because I've got a lot of knowledge in my brain. But Rob, as you know, and Brian, I think I've played you a couple of times, these hands do not work.
Yeah.
So I need to, I want to go on that journey and just stream a bit more and be a bit more proactive in terms of that. And hopefully the social media thing will help with giving me the time of focus. But the big question, I think, is not what's your New Year's resolution, what's your New Year's refresh rate? I think that's the important question.
I don't want to embarrass myself. I know Art might be watching this, so I'm still on a 270 hertz. I haven't stepped it up yet, so waiting for Art to come in here and school us on that. You're right.
Mine is 144, bro.
Oh, basic. Listen, we got probably another season of this. We got to get prepared. I know.
I thought there was the law of diminishing returns after 144, bro.
I mean, you're technically correct, but you can't flex that number these days. Maybe 3 years ago you could have flexed 144, but
I'm in a stone age.
That's for sure. But that said, you let us know. Logan said we're getting off social media, but we'll be reading those YouTube comments. So let us know in the comments below if you have any FGC resolutions. Let us know what you're going to be trying out new this year. Like I said, don't be scared to try something new. And the resolutions are all about trying to reflect and grow as a person individually and as a community as a whole. So let's see what we can do together in 2022 FGC. But that said, this is the pre-show after all. We do have a big event coming up. And I feel like these last couple of CPT events, I like them so much because there's a whole year's worth, a whole season's worth of storylines building up behind them. And, this has been one of the most storied regions of the entire Street Fighter V life cycle. So, of course, we have Central America East 2 coming up next. This is the second event for the region where the favorite happened to win the first one. I can argue he's the favorite, right? Mena RD won the first event for Central America East, but there's a bunch of killers still in the bracket because this is one of the strongest regions we've seen come out in a long time. And it's even stronger these days, you could argue, because not only do we have people like, Crossover or Kaba competing to qualify, we have the newly minted CEO champion, Mono, in the bracket, who just came off an extremely big win at CEO, offline Street Fighter V, open bracket, no complaints here, taking out Punk in grand finals, and he's here trying to compete for his spot to qualify. So there's a lot of players vying for this spot right now, and a lot of momentum behind some of these players going into this bracket.
Yeah, man. Look, as far as my boy Mono, before we can get to Mono, I want to say I'm not seeing Mena RD participating in this bracket. In the words of my man Jay Black, soft. Sloppy, disgusting, the unmitigated gall. I do not understand the mindset of these huge-hearted, kumbaya, my lord type of players that choose not to enter the bracket so that their buddies can win. Brian, you know how I get down. You know what I'm saying? You would have did the same thing to me. You would have did the same thing.
I would have done the same thing. But I feel like there's another level to it here. Let's be honest, Rob. Midwest CPT, who is going to be fighting for that spot? Say, you're guaranteed first. Who's going to be fighting for that second place spot? It's going to be another person from the Midwest.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to Central America East 2. It's not just Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
It's Puerto Rico. It's other countries as well. There's another layer to this. I don't think it's not just, I want one of my DR homies to qualify. It's, I want DR to qualify over DR. I think there's another level to it here.
You're right,
it's
man.
Deeper than that.
It's great. It's great that this event has now stepped up to being DR and PR. And if Mena gets drawn against Kaba again, like he seems to have been multiple times, you send a guy to losers bracket, and PR's not just Mono. You've got guys like Olivo, Strange Hale, AJ Martinez. They're players that you don't want to play in a first or two in losers bracket on your way to top 8. They're very dangerous. So it's really exciting, and I understand. Mena has always put DR first. He's done so much for that community.
Heart.
Enormous heart, that guy. He's done so much for that community, and I understand that choice. He's not a mercenary that will do anything for cash like some people on this call.
I'm dead. Yo, I'm glad that you brought up my man AJ Martinez, by the way. He's actually a Karen player, dead nice. And then, of course, like you brought up, Brian, my man Mono was on something else. We have to make sure we mention, too, not only did he win CEO, in the Central America 1, he actually got second place to Mena. And going into that, eyes were on that matchup already because he had just beat Mena like 3-0 in some tournament. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Evo Online.
Oh, so yeah, I knew it was something important. Okay, yeah, it was Evo Online. He had smoked him in a 3-0 in that bracket. So that's what we were like, okay, what's gonna happen here? And he still put up a good fight there in the last CPT. 3-2 in winners finals. He lost to Mena. Then he lost 3-1 in grand finals, I believe. But there's a certain level of confidence you get after you win one of these big events. like you start to feel a lot more invincible, a whole lot more comfortable. You notice you've been there before. So I think Mono is going to be very tough to stop. And outside of what it does for you yourself, your opponents put another level of respect on you, depending on who it is. A lot of guys are going to be terrified when they see him in their path. So I don't think that he's going to be able to be stopped in this bracket. He got to be the favorite to win it all. But we can't act like my man Kaba is not who he is, bro. The one and only. We see all the yelling and excitement at Street Fighter League when it comes to him hyping up all of his teammates. And when he plays, he doesn't make that much noise. That's because he's making just as much noise. He's spending just as much energy in game, kicking your ass with that guile. Last thing I will say about Kaba, you know him and Mena are going to be practicing like there is no tomorrow for this bracket. So he is going to be prepared, isn't even a word, Brian.
I actually was fortunate enough to train with Mena a little bit for CPT Midwest. He helped me out with the Birdie matchup, and I got to see a little bit of the thought process and how that training style goes down. And it's really interesting to see like the way Mena is able to, you know, he's a very young player. He's much younger than myself, but the way he's able to communicate and present ideas and break things down, it's from someone I feel like it's like wise beyond his years. And so I got to see that firsthand with just working on the Birdie matchup. But Mena plays the entire cast, so I wouldn't be surprised if he has a strong Fong at this point just to help Cobb out. I was
just gonna say, as much training as these guys are gonna do together, how do you train the Fang matchup to a level at which you're ready for someone like Mono? Because I think there's maybe like 3 players that can do in the world what Mono can do with that character.
But I will say, the DR community is extremely resourceful, and they know how to reach out and network to find like behind the scenes. They train online a lot, just, you know, in the battle lounges. I'm going to be interested to see, because I was surprised that you said that Mono is the favorite, because I wasn't too sure about that. Like, Mono's hot right now, but you're putting him over Kappa?
I think winning CEO, the level of confidence that this guy has, I mean, he just, come on, man. Mono's whole damn family was there. Half of Puerto Rico was there. The energy was out of this world. Twitter went crazy. I feel like he's just over the moon right now. Like, I feel like if he were to lose the tournament, he wouldn't be super, super crushed because of what he did at CEO. So I kind of think that there's like a level of comfort and freedom in your play that comes along.
The optics are in his favor.
You're right.
His brand won't take a hit. Like, Kappa needs the win for his brand, if that's what you're going for. Mono will survive. I mean, they're fighting. It's do or die right now for these two.
They're the top 2. They're the top 2 favorites easily. I won't be shocked if Kappa wins at all. Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen how many tournaments now all throughout 2021, and finally we're in 2022. We only have a few tournaments left, so every single match, every single hit is going to be precious. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Central America East Top 16.
Lock and loaded, it's time for war.
Can't start a show without the star.
This is the path of my destiny.
Come on, let's turn up the heat. About time to finish this.
See what I'm really made of.
I'll show you.
How do you like this?
It's time for war.
That is the truth of what you must seek.
Let's go! After it!
Fear my strength!
Have a taste of this!
Don't take this personal! I'll show no mercy!
This is for my fellow hunters!
All riders have to strike out on their own.
Let's do this!
ain't too late to run off to mom now.
These matches are going to be even more ridiculous.
If you know anything about Street Fighter, you do not doubt the GOAT.
My man is always hitting go. You thought I was playing? Oh, you're hella dead. Help me out, Nadeshko.
I love how much it means to him. Wow!
Not over! It's not over! Are you serious? My man is reading right now. My man is reading.
Muito boa noite, senhoras e senhores. Voltamos depois da virada do ano aí com mais um CPT. Hoje, CPT América Central East, mais conhecido e batizado aqui por nós brasileiros como Farofeiros do Caribe Round 2. Eu sou o Macaquinho e aqui ao meu lado está o Chuchu. Muito boa noite, Chuchu.
Salve, galera. Salve, Macaquinho. Boa noite. Como é que você tá? Tá tranquilado?
Tranquilinho.
É isso aí, então. Então, é isso, cara. Vamos ver aí. Estamos retornando. Sei que a galera tava com saudade, então sejam todos muito bem-vindos aí. Vamos matar a saudade hoje. E vai ser pesado, hein? Vários nomes fortes aí. E tem um campeão recente, né? De um último torneio offline que teve aí não muito tempo atrás. O CEO, né? Que o Mono ganhou e ele tá aí. Imagino que ele esteja ainda pela Winners para disputar essa vaga. Temos o Caba aí também, que dispensa comentários, então vai ser monstro essa etapa.
Temos Crossover também, campeão latino-americano 2017.
Verdade, né? Veio aqui roubar a vaga de alguém.
Roubar a vaga. Temos vários nomes aí. Bracket na tela, teremos Mono contra Luiman ali. Porto Rico contra República Dominicana, depois temos V positivo contra Crossover, Caba contra o Jimmy e o Raizek contra o Brian D. Esta é a Winners aí, lembrando que todas as partidas hoje são FT2. Quem ganhar da Winners já tá no top 8, só joga amanhã, Chuchu.
É isso, então hoje ainda, pelo menos pra quem tá na Winners, né, ainda tem aquele bom crédito de poder perder uma. Então, a galera joga um pouquinho mais tranquila. E a galera aí que vai ganhar vai ter que jogar só uma e já vai poder ir pro jantarzinho com a namorada, jantarzinho com a família. Ou se preparar pra amanhã, né? Então vamos ver como é que vai ser aí.
É hora de botar no lab ali o boneco que você vai enfrentar. Né? Você já vai saber quem você vai enfrentar no final da rodada ali. Já vai pro treino. Acho que os caras não descansam não, hein? Vai direto, vira a noite.
Com tanta coisa em jogo, acho que o certo é não descansar mesmo. Deixa pra descansar amanhã.
Realmente, ele tem o Mono vindo de Fang, o Luiman de Dawson, o V positivo, ele pegou acho que top 16 no último CPT do Caribe. Vem de Ed, Crossover vindo de Nekali, Akuma, Caba vindo de Gaio, Balrog do Jimmy, TR, Raizek vindo de Chun-Li e o Brian D também vindo de Gaio. Gaio forte nessa região, hein?
Tem duas Chun-Li também, né? Tô curioso pra ver como é que esses caras jogam.
Chun-Li, temos ali o Ajax Fidelity, também que vem com o seu Ed e a Juri contra o AJ Martinez de Carinho, Coma 1801 de Chun-Li contra o Lilo. Lilo aí, finalista 2019 nas finais regionais, lá matou nosso amado e querido Keoma. Vindo de Balrog, o Fênix RD com seu Akuma vai enfrentar o Bunshin Master de Zeku e o Nestlé Quick de Kami vai enfrentar ali o Strange Hail 8 de Ryu. Acredite se quiser, temos um Ryu no top 16.
Sim, eu tava curioso pra saber com que personagem você ia falar que esse Bunshin Master joga, que se não fosse de Zeku eu já ia embora agora, velho. Não pode fazer essas coisas.
Esse aí nem precisou pesquisar. Bunshin Master é Zeku. Certeza.
Não pode fazer essas coisas, botar o nick ali e não jogar com o boneco.
Rapaz, vamos lá então. Lembrando que essa é a segunda etapa aí do Caribe. Primeira quem ganhou foi o Mena, ele não voltou para fazer o Gatekeeper ali. Quem ficou em segundo na época foi o Mono. O Mono que ganhou o CEO recentemente.
pra mim, é o grande favorito. O cara tá quente ainda, Chuchu, pra você.
Tem essa também, né? Ele já tá vindo ali com aquela confiança, né? De ganhar um torneio grande fora do país dele e offline, né? E, mano, o maluco matou o Punk na final, tá ligado? Não foi qualquer um. O maluco matou o Punk na final. Então, o cara tá com a confiança lá em cima. Isso aí é um problema, né, para os adversários dele. Mas temos jogadores muito fortes. O Luiman, todo mundo sabe que é muito forte. O Kaba também dispensa comentários. É um jogador muito forte, um jogador experiente. Já participou de Capcom Cup, já participou de SFL, já participou de vários torneios. Então, fácil não vai ser. Eu realmente não sei se o favorito é o Mono. Eu diria que pode ficar entre o Mono e o Kaba. Eu acredito que... Acho que os dois são os favoritos ali. Não sei dizer quem é mais que o outro, não. Mas eu acredito que sejam os dois ali. A galera mais forte ali. Vamos ver, né?
É pesado, hein? Então, essa disputa. Vamos ver quem vai ficar com essa segunda vaga aí. Para as finais regionais. Agora... Lembrando que a última chance, mostrou ali a premiação, são $4.000 de pote. Lembrando que o top 4 vai ganhar o dinheirinho, mas o top 4 rola só amanhã, porque hoje é top 16. Tem 16, saem 8 vão para casa. Vão ter ali que esperar até a próxima temporada começar para realizar o sonho de se tornar o campeão regional.
É isso.
Vamos ver. Eu acho que a primeira luta, a galera resetou ali, a primeira luta que deve começar deve ser o Mono e o Luiman, realmente. Galera, o pessoal do Smash errou ali em startar a match, já resetaram.
E temos o Gigio aí na tela, narrando com o Ultra David. Gigio deixou a barba crescer um pouquinho, pá. Então, vamos esperar a narração top aí, que Gigi é monstro.
Gigi ali.
No mais, galera que tá chegando, Crosshands, Fábio Ramones, Arte Sequência, Williams, Gui Cortez, Thiago MFM Fakes, Cabelinho, Erudon, sejam todos muito bem-vindos, galera. Espero que vocês estejam curtindo, espero que vocês curtam aí a narração com a gente. Eu desejo uma boa noite, um bom final de semana a todos aí já. Isso a galera da Twitch, temos também uma galera do YouTube que eu acabei perdendo aqui, mas sejam bem-vindos também, galera que tá acompanhando pelo YouTube aí. Espero que vocês curtam a narração, espero que vocês curtam aí o decorrer do torneio, que vai ser pesado. Já tô com meu cafezinho aqui, então só vamos, filho.
Deixa eu dar um salve pra galera do YouTube aqui, então. True Omegade, Wellington Silva e Neto TX, essa galera do YouTube aí.
É isso, então o Luiman aí com a frase dele falando, pô, vou ter que enfrentar o campeão do CEO. Então eu espero que a gente tenha uma incrível luta como a gente sempre faz. Então, com certeza, jogadores que já se enfrentam aí bastante. Então vamos ver. Ele já perdeu as contas ali de quantas vezes ele e o Luiman se enfrentaram em torneios offline. E ele tá sempre voltando e se esforçando bastante. Vai ser com certeza uma matchup muito boa. E os dois odeiam se enfrentar por conta da matchup. Então Então falou ali no final, vamos ver ali quem que vai superar esse obstáculo, essa maldição, esse obstáculo aí dessa vez. Então, eu imagino que deve ser uma match bem chata mesmo de fazer. Fang e Dalsin, um do lado, um do outro, cada um de um lado da tela fazendo alguma caquinha antes de ir pra cima. Então são dois personagens que... Dá pra dizer que o Dalsin tem uma pressão forte, né? Então, são dois personagens que têm pressão forte, são dois personagens que têm defesa ruim. Então, tipo, vai ser a guerra ali pra ver quem que vai conseguir encostar primeiro pra fazer a pressão e tentar matar nesse momento. Porque eu imagino que chegar, tanto pro Dalsin quanto pro Fang, deve ser um pouquinho mais complicado. Se bem que o Dalsin tem teleporte, né? Que pode ali atrapalhar um pouco as magias do Fang. Então, vamos ver como é que vai ser.
Ih, rapaz, mas... Se já chegou facinho no Joel ali, o jogador de Fang Mono. Tá só nos médios, só na cutucada. Lembrando que FT2, top 16, primeira match da noite. Tentou o Muganga ali, foi impedido no chutinho da canela. Só nos poucos, já tá no corner. Tentou, soltou Jaex. Nishiku nada feito, o Muganga tentou a rasteira. Tomou counter pouco, Yogafari passou debaixo da magia. Tentou ali Assolada, carrinho. Boa defesa.
Nossa,
Virou bem. Mas aí tomou o Sansara. O Sansara ainda na tela, Crush Counter. Nossa, vai combar tudo. Olha o setup, tentou o Gale. Ele errou o instant Gale. Que bagunça, Drill. Puniu bem. Ativa o V-Trigger agora o Mono. Mas tá na bacia das almas. Veneninho, bom artware, tá indo pra cima. Não mudou de lado, boa defesa do Luiman, mas tá no corner. Tomou ali o X.
Ai, tentou o jab de antiaéreo.
O overhead ali leva melhor. O Mono, que bagunça, hein, Chuchu?
Essa partida foi bem bagunçada mesmo, hein?
Já mostraram porque não gostam de se enfrentar ali. Dalsin Fang. É uma bagunça. Só nos poucos. Yoga Fire. Bom jumping. Vai pra pressão. Soltou já. Muganga. Mudou de lado. Só nas traps. Crush Counter. Veio a rasteira. Soco forte. Nossa, tentou veneninho. X deu trade. No. Tomou o Sansara. Rasteira. Ativa bem o V-Trigger. Vai pro Sotoja. Mudou de lado. Dropou o combo ali. O Mono. Mas o Luiman não puniu. Sotoja. Bom antiaéreo. Foi pro carrinho. Médio. Yoga Fire. Tem a chance do comeback. Sai fora do Joé. Yoga Flame, boa! Consegue o Yoga Fire, mas o jumping veio na hora certa, rapaz. 1-0 Mono, sai na frente.
É isso. Aproveitou bem ali as chances que ele tinha de atacar, apesar que a primeira luta foi meio bagunçada, mas depois parece que os dois se acharam um pouco ali, mais o Mono, né, que já tava mais ligado ali no que fazer. Então os dois voltaram ali pro saguão. Vamos ver se vai haver uma troca de personagem. Acho que não, né? Que eu nunca vi nenhum dos dois jogar com personagem diferente.
Eu também não. Ali os dois, eles sempre vindo de Dalsin e Fang. Talvez ali tenha rolado algum problema com o jogador de Dalsin ali, o Luiman. Vamos ver aí. O que rolou, porque voltou pro lobby e o Mono vem forte, hein? Mostrou ali que mesmo de Dalsin ele dá conta.
É isso, galera ali dos jogadores de Fang ali, torcendo brabo ali pro Mono. Cabelinho. O Charuto é jogador de Fang, mas ele joga com todos os bonecos do jogo também. Também joga de Dalsin, então o Charuto não conta.
O Charuto tá dos dois lados.
É.
Tá dos dois
Charuto
lados.
quer ver a luta aí pro último round pra ele charingar o máximo que der ali dos dois.
Vamos ver então. Deve ter rolado algum problema técnico com o Luiman. Lembrando que o Mono é o atual campeão do CEO, vice-campeão do CPT Farofeiros do Caribe Round 1. Perdeu ali só pro Mena na grande final. E o Mena não tá hoje, hein?
Será que alguém vai pará-lo? Já que o boss não está?
Será? O pai não veio? Vamos ver, tentou o Rio Benda ali, já levou o trade. Veneninho. Só no soco forte, tentando pescar um botão ali. Mono. Bom Crush Counter. Mudou ali.
Nossa,
Gale,
meu Deus, Gale de antiaéreo, essa é nova.
Gale de antiaéreo combando com Gale. Fingiu que ia dar o time, voltou e deu o troll. Ativou o V-Trigger, Sansara, jogou a Sansara pra frente. Bom
caiu.
Antiaéreo, trio. Médio, Yoga Flame, carrinho, plus, Yoga Fire, plus, Gale, plus, tudo plus, vale tudo.
Meu Deus
Sansara
do céu,
não mudou de lado, Gale. Que isso? Tá na bacia das almas, não puniu ali. E o Benda tentou o soco forte, agora o Mono. Fez o pulo neutro. Fez o V-Skill, ele quer o V-Trigger, mas hoje não. Bom trade ali do Luiman. Round bom, hein?
Round bom. Eu sabia que ia dar o trade ali, mas sabia que ia ser vantajoso pra ele. Só foi.
Meu Deus, Crush Counter full screen, nem tinha o que fazer ali o Mono. Fez o V-Skill. Rio Benda. Tentando uns pokezinhos de longe. Rio Benda tomou veneninho. Muganga. Drill Plus. Yoga Flame. Soltou já X. Foi pro Artware ali. O Drill passou por baixo. Yoga Fire. Não passou. Agora acabou levando o jumping. Foi pro reset. Yoga Fire.
Nossa,
puniu
linda.
bem. Vai pra pressão. Agora o Mono consegue o médio. Nossa senhora. Deu uma capoeira ali agora, velho. Tá indo pra cima, o Mono consegue o counter, o stun. Vai levar o round, entrar e match point. Que isso, você viu aquela esquiva dele ali, velho?
Ele tá doido, velho. Essa aí foi Big Brain, hein, mano.
Que isso. Fez ali o Nishiku X, soltou já X, agora pegou. Bom botão ali do Luiman, levantou, caiu na frente. Foi de brado. Fez o dash ali. Luiman, tomou, soltou Jax, Muganga, Drill, tá plus, consegue o Tick Throw. Foi pro Drill de novo, nossa ele conseguiu um anti-aéreo. Tentou o Throw, nossa mãe do céu. Os dois tentando o Throw ali. Ativa o V-Trigger, agora a chance do comeback é grande do jogador de frente.
Minha nossa, isso foi V-Reverso, eu tenho certeza.
Só não saiu porque ele errou ali, velho. Meu amigo. 1-1, tudo igual, hein?
É, o Luiman conseguiu dar uma recuperada ali. Ele realmente, essa partida realmente pareceu mais dele, né? Pareceu que ele sabia mais ou menos o que tinha que fazer ali, referente ao round passado. Conseguiu acertar bem o ataque ali, muito boa. Sem querer atrasar a match, então já foi o Mono, já deu rematch ali, quer acabar logo com a tortura, né?
Deve ser uma torturante.
Meu
Nossa!
Deus! Antiaéreo de nuca!
Boa snipada ali agora do Luiman. Mudou de lado, tentou ali deitar o Mono. Olha o Dawson vindo. Tem um triple dash. Soltou Jax. Tentou o Muganga, soco forte, nada feito. Muganga de novo. Fez o V-Shift no nada. Tenta o drill. Acaba levando o veneninho, ativa bem o V-Trigger agora. O jogador de fang consegue o back throw. Deu soco forte, sniper. Sai fora do Sansara.
Meu Deus, linda! Ai!
Muganga X voltou!
Tava muito ruim pra ele.
Rapaz, e no carrinho entra em match point Luiman, rapaz. E agora, hein? Pode ser a virada.
Pode ser, tava ruim pra ele a situação do V-Trigger.
Fez ali o throw, Luiman, drill, fez o reverso. Nossa, ele tomou
Meu Deus, isso foi intencional, não é possível.
Nossa, o Flip pegou no último frame ativo, já tava zerando o cronômetro, acaba levando ali e dá azar, o Mono abalou, hein? Fez o V-Shift, tentou punir. Nada feito, soltou Jax, foi pro jumping, bom anti-aéreo, carrinho, plus. Agora é só administrar, cozinhar o Galo Luiman que não perde mais. Crush, counter ali de anti-aéreo. Consegue confirme 2-1 de virada. Luiman manda o Mono pra losers, hein?
É, Macaquinho, você já amaldiçoou aí o favorito.
Que isso.
Macaquinho já jogou a maldição ali na primeira luta, já vai pra loser. Você ganhou offline, você matou o Punk? Tô nem aí. Vai pra loser.
Ali, Dawson é outra história, fi.
Bichinho, complicado.
E o favorito já caiu pra losers, hein? Que isso, cara. E agora vai jogar lá com o vencedor de Nestlé Quick contra Strange Hale.
É isso. Então, galera que tá chegando aí, Marvin Mister, salve. Feliz ano novo pra você, feliz ano novo pra geral. Que 2022 seja melhor aí. Se bem que a gente já começou o ano meio pá, né?
Né?
Esses vírus aí que não vai embora. Tá foda, matchup contra o vírus tá 8-2, não tá nem 7-3 mais. Tá 8-2 a matchup contra o vírus.
E já temos o primeiro classificado aí pro top 8. Luiman mandando o Mono para losers 2-1. Agora temos V positivo e crossover.
Esse V positivo eu também acho que é uma ofensa ele não jogar de Bison, mano. Na moral.
É, né? O cara é full positivo, mas é o filho ali.
É Ed, né?
É Ed.
O Ed é bem positivinho também.
Vamos ver. Então agora eu fiquei curioso pra saber o que o crossover vai usar contra o Ed. Se ele vai usar o Nekali ou se ele vai usar o Akuma. Tá usando muito os dois.
Era Nekali e Akuma que ele tava jogando?
Aham.
Não tá jogando de Seth mais?
Tinha um Sethzinho ali, mas o índice tava baixo.
Vamos ver então o que ele vai usar. Tá usando um monte de personagem. Não sabia que ele tava jogando de Nekali, não. Ele só joga geralmente com personagem top tier, né? O Nekali tá bem normal, né? Faz tempo que o Nekali tá bem normal.
Vamos ver então, vamos ver aqui, deixa eu ver aqui. Como é que era? Nossa, deu um branco aqui agora. Vamos ver o percentual de bonecos do crossover aqui. Ele tem ali... Em 2021, tem 42% de jogos com Necali, 24% com Akuma, 14% com 7, 12% com Urim, 4% com Bison, 1% com a Mika. Aí fica difícil.
Vixe Maria. Então a frase do crossover aí, aquela frase bem humilde. Eu vou ganhar e vou continuar em frente. É isso. Não, sem,
isso.
menino de poucas palavras. Vou matar. Simples.
Vai. Matarei. Crossover aí. Campeão do GT1 Fight Club Street Fighter 5 Tournament, hein? Ganhou pouco tempo agora. Primeiro lugar.
Então o positivo aí falando, eu vou dar o meu melhor, falando que crossover é uma parede. Então, vai saber o que quer dizer. Imagino que ele deva ter dificuldade aí pra ganhar do crossover. Talvez ele ache que o crossover tenha uma defesa muito boa. Então vamos ver como é que vai ser essa match aí. Ed contra... Vai saber quem, né?
Contra... Eu chuto sempre a Akuma, porque a Akuma
é o main
Akuma.
dele, né?
É. Vamos ver, mas pode vir uma surpresa aí. Pode vir um Seth. Apesar de que o Seth não tá muito legal, não, hein?
Tá doido, o Seth tá fortão. Eu acho que o Seth tá mais forte que o Akuma nessa versão.
Vixe.
É, apesar do nerf no dive, ainda o bicho tá monstrão, mano. Você é louco. Muito forte.
É, vamos ver então. O que vai trazer o menino crossover? Nossa, mãe do céu. Os caras... Aí os caras tão zoando, pô. Aí é briga de camarada. Luke contra Luke. Mirror match. Começa na Fireball ali, soco forte. Médio Fireball. Fica nos jabzinhos. Vai pra cima.
E, mano, eu vou falar pra você. Luta de 2 boxeadores dentro do ringue. Ficou muito legal, hein? Não sei, com certeza não foi proposital, mas ficou legal o estágio.
É, bom Horus ali de antiaéreo do V positivo. Mais 2, isso aí.
Nossa, acabou de inventar esse antiaéreo. Nunca vi boxeador da antiaéreo com o pé?
Né? Fez o Bazooka Ni, pressão, target combo, pulo neutro,
Luciano
vai
Brasil.
pra cima, jab, Horus. Tem uma skill ainda pra trabalhar. Que boneco, hein?
Rapaz.
Que Knuckle ali cantando, só no fígado.
Meu
Nossa,
Deus.
Mãe do céu. Vai pra cima na ignorância, acaba levando o buffer da Fireball. O menino V positivo. Consegue um counter ali. Trade. Bom confirme agora do V positivo. Fazendo os médios. Bom if punish no crossover. Tenta o throw, foi tecado. Fireball X. Faz o V skill ali. V positivo, ativa o V trigger agora. Crossover. Faz o médio, perde o confirme. Tentou o chute forte, ativa o V trigger também. O menino. Bom Horus. Vai pra cima, plus. Tudo isso vale. Bom punish agora do V positivo.
Nossa senhora, na cara.
Fireball da ignorância. Acaba o V-Trigger agora do crossover. V positivo faz o Rory X. Pegando bem antiaéreo, tá plus. Tenta o low, acaba errando o combo. Fireball X gasta 2 barras, tenta subir o Rory. Nossa, mãe do céu. Acaba levando o meteoro de Pegasus ali. Que o crossover fez, rapaz?
Nossa, será que foi dash e magia? Pode ter
Acho
sido,
foi.
né? Imagina um
Acho que
dashzinho.
foi.
Geralmente quando a gente dá dash e magia, às vezes sai DP mesmo, né? Porque conta os inputs, mas, putz, entregou a paçoquinha.
E vai mudar, hein?
Vai mudar. Agora vai pegar o chefão. Ah, beleza. Deixa eu pegar meu boneco aqui. Vamos ver se esse look é o pá mesmo.
Vamos parar de brincar aqui, né? Tá valendo top 8.
Mas eu imagino que esse look foi uma tentativa dos 2 jogadores de surpreender o adversário deles.
Nossa.
Então, considerando isso, eu imagino que o V positivo esteja na vantagem, né?
Ele surpreendeu mais, né? Surpreendeu
Não,
ganhando.
assim, porque agora, tipo, ele tem uma ficha de crédito, né? Caso ele não consiga ganhar com o Luke, ele ainda tem o boneco principal dele. Porque assim, se o crossover, analisando um pouco mais...